We in the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Izzle on it, only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head. Tub with the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Been living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob. Come let the heat rock simmer.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode in the studio with your man. That would be me.
You switching it up on him.
I know,
Like you gotta actually say the title.
I wanted to let them know who they was tuning in to.
So another episode of In the Studio with the homie.
Yeah, that would be me too. I'm the homie. I'm your man. I'm your boy. That's all that. What's up, people? Welcome back. I appreciate you tuning in as always. And once again, I do have my main man here with me, Izzle.
Here.
How you doing, young fella?
Feeling good, feeling great, Rob. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I got no complaints. Life is good. Hey, we was talking about marriage and everything on the last couple of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
First, why you want to do it? Who knows? You everybody got their own reason. And then just answering some questions from the people. And, we got some good feedback from it. So I appreciate the people that listened and tuned in to those. If you didn't, please go check it out.
Participated. Thank you for your questions, people.
Yeah. And if you didn't hear it, go check it out. It's all good. So in the whole theme of marriage, we're going to talk, and not really marriage. I say marriage, but in reality, it's just in relationships in general. Communication. So this episode, I'm talking about, why can't we talk?
Cue up Tevin Campbell.
Hey, can we talk? So anyway, but why can't we talk? It's because of communication. Our communication is breaking down. It's not where it needs to be. We don't communicate well. Communication basically is, just so you know what it is. Definition of communication is the imparting or exchanging of information. Basically, just sharing information. And so what happens though, I think we all communicate, but sometimes we don't even know that we're communicating because so many different, it's different ways. You have your verbals and nonverbal communication things that happen. And so sometimes we're not aware of those, but we're all communicating at all. And usually, and at all times you're communicating with somebody, and you have to be aware of that you're communicating. And also when you're not communicating well or effectively. So what we want to talk about a little bit is kind of talk a little bit to help you communicate a little better. I want you to be able to say what you mean what you say, and more importantly, for the other person or the person that you're talking to or you're communicating with, for them to understand you. Because what happens is, if you can say all the great things you want to say, all these special words, and use all that's good information, but if people don't understand you, you just wasted your time. So it's on you as the communicator to make sure the person understands what you're trying to say. So you have to understand that first. I need to make sure that whoever I'm talking to can understand what I'm talking about. If they don't understand what I'm talking about, I'm wasting my time. So, and we're going to talk about it in, like I said, in all relationships, but it's going to affect marriage as well. And it affects marriage every day because you have so many people in marriages that want to leave their marriage, or are frustrated in their marriage, thinking there's some huge problem, when the problem really is that we don't know how to talk. So we need to learn how to talk to each other, how to communicate better. So again, you have verbal communication and the written word. So that part, you write a letter, you write a note, you give it to your person or whoever you want to talk to, or you say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling, blah, blah, blah. Verbal. Most people understand that. Nonverbal. Now, that's something I think that kind of causes us problems. I know for me it's funny because people used to always, I could tell you ain't feeling that. And my wife even said, no, you don't want to hear that, or you ain't want to talk about that. And I'm like, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you. But body language. Sometimes you cross your arms, let people know I ain't really feeling you.
Now you got a face. You got.
Well, I'm seeing my kids.
It's a 100% a stop talking to your face.
So see, that's coming from somebody that's been knowing me for 36 years.
And that thing was right before you actually say stop talking to me.
See, that's coming from a son. See, I don't say that to my wife. I'll tell her to stop talking. I may have that
you stop at the face.
Yeah. So, but that's the problem. So that is something that But it's funny because even at work, I had to learn how not to show those expressions. I had a boss, and she was cool, one of the smartest people I've met. And we'd be in a meeting, and people be saying stuff, and she would say after me, she's like, "You got to stop." And I was like, "What?" She said, "You just be looking like they stupid." And I was like, "I ain't saying that." She said, "No, your face, you letting it all show." So I really had to work on that, trying not to show how I was feeling or what I was thinking about what you were saying just in my face. So that is, again, body language is key. You gotta be cautious of what your arms folding, your facial expressions, your posture, your eye contact. Usually, a lot of times you'll see you talking to people and people don't look you in the eye. Or, it's like, what are you looking over to the right when I'm right here in front of you? Because they not feeling what you're saying or they don't understand what you're saying, one or the other. So again, those things go along with. So you have to, as the receiver of information sometimes as well, you have to make sure that your nonverbal skills or nonverbal communication is one of those things where it's accepting or it's inviting for the person to communicate to you. And so, like I said, it's difficult.
Or at least not a deterrent.
Yeah, definitely not a deterrent. Because again, and I think we all go through it. It's not, again, as Izzo was telling you about me, my face can show that I ain't interested. But I've been working on it. But again,
I'm better, I promise.
Yeah, I'm better at it with other people. It's hard sometimes, I guess, with people you care about. But you have to show that I'm interested. And what I've done, I think, with my wife more of it is that I try to show, have empathy in the conversation. So that makes me stay engaged in the conversation. I care about what you're saying. I care about how you feel about what you're saying. So that helps me stay more engaged versus, somebody talking to me about something I just can't wrap my head around. I don't care, but I can't show that all the time. So, but again, that's one of the things that you have to work on. Again,
I think one thing that I've been trying to learn and adopt is I can't make myself care about what you're saying, but I can be committed to caring about the fact that you care about whatever you're saying.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. And no, that's perfect, because what happens is what you're saying is not necessarily, let's say your wife come home from work. I don't care about her work people, the people she work with. That ain't no interest in me. But I care about you. So what I'm showing is I care about you, not necessarily about them. But so I'm going to listen to you because it's about you. It ain't about them. But if I just broke it down to what you were saying, it's like, I can care less that this girl don't help at work, or this one don't do that. That's not my issue.
I don't care about bringing TPS reports.
No, that stuff means nothing to me. But again, you have to be able to, make sure that you are engaged with your partner. I care about you, babe. I care about you. So I'm listening to you, and I have empathy for what you're going through. And that helps you, again, not have those nonverbal communication that just says, please stop talking to me. That's not Again, why is communication important in building a relationship? Because that's the only way you can build a relationship. You say, well, we don't talk. We know we don't really have that type of relationship. We just know what we think. No, you got to be able to talk to each other in order to learn. And it's funny because when we first meet somebody, and you go on your first date or your second date, and all the other ones a little early in that relationship, all you gotta do is talk. You talk about all kind of dumb stuff. You stay on the phone. Hey, what you doing? What's
your favorite color?
Yeah, and you can't sleep. And it's funny because you ask them their favorite color and then you forget it. But anyway, but we stay on the phone all night. Nobody want to hang up. Just talking. Fall asleep with the phone. But because you want to talk. You want to know about this person. That's communication. But then once you have the person, all of a sudden we don't talk. We don't know. We don't need, no, you still need, because what happens is, you are growing. The person you're with is growing. So if you don't continue to communicate, you're not going to understand where they're growing and how they're growing and how that affects you. So communication should never stop. You should always, in fact, the longer you're together, the more you should want to talk. Because there's so much more about you at 30 than there was at 18. 18, you was silly and goofy, and it was the stuff you were learning because you ain't know nothing. At 30, you're a real person now. You done went through some stuff. So now there's a lot of stuff to learn and talk about with each other. We got kids now. We ain't just talking about the kids, but we're gonna talk about the kids. We got, but even with that, how is what the kids doing? How does that affect you? And I think that's what we don't talk about enough. Like with our kids, our kids play sports and we're active in school, all different, they were great students for the most part, and they did a lot of different things in school. They played sports, AAU, and all this other stuff. So they kept us busy. But what happens was we forgot at certain times, not just to talk, we was talking about the kids and life, but we never talk about each other. Like, how is this affecting you? How is it affecting you that I come in from work and go straight to practice with them? Or I go straight to practice and don't come home until after that. So how does that affect you? How does that, how do you feel about, every weekend we at a track meet, or a basketball game, or football game, or whatever. How is that affecting you? So sometimes you can get caught up. So you always need to communicate to help continue to build your relationship. And so that's where I think, as you get into, your marriage or your relationship for a long period of time, you can't stop talking or thinking it's not important. It's more important to continue to build on that communication. One of the things that I think we also have to understand is a big part of communication is listening. So that means, again, I stop talking. I allow you to talk, but not just talk, but I listen to what you say. Because the worst part is, if I'm talking to you and you don't know what I said because you were playing on your phone, watching TV, thinking about what you're going to cook for dinner, thinking about where you're going after this. I'm trying to talk to you. I need you to listen to me. And I think that's one of the things that caused the breakdown in a relationship more than anything. It's not that we didn't communicate. It's that when I'm trying to communicate to you, you're doing all this other stuff and you're not listening to me. Take time. Listen. Put aside your phone. Put it down. Close it up. Do whatever you have to do to get it out. If you have to put it in another room because you're twitching. Some people, my phone, I can't stop. I got to reach for it. Put it in another room.
All right. But why can't I use my phone and listen to you at the same time?
Because it's not. It's impolite for one. Because the one thing I don't, and again, I think it happens is we get so comfortable with our phones nowadays because you can go back to when there was no phone. You old So
don't do that. Don't necessarily.
So you can go back to when there was no phone. But some people, they don't understand. All they don't listening. But all they had was a phone. So, but if I call you, even as a child, if I call you to the table and I'm talking to you about whatever, chores, life in general, whatever, we having a conversation, and you picking up your phone, and you can say, I'm listening. No, you're not giving me all your attention. You're giving me some of it. But the other part is going to your phone and whoever you texting or whatever you watching on your phone. When you're in a communication and to show respect for what we're doing here, the time that we should be spending together, your phone should be out of the way. You go to dinner and you'll see people, everybody, you know. I was funny because I think I was with my wife, or maybe I was with you. I don't remember. But I said,
your wife is crazy.
No, what I'm saying, cause what I saw was, it was a table, a family. All of them was on their phone. And I don't know if I told you.
No, yeah. You either told me about it or we're there.
But it was so funny. I was like,
wait, that might have been my birthday.
No, it wasn't your birthday. No. But anyway, it was like 5 of them or whatever. All of them was on their phone. Not one of them was talking to each other. I'm like, they had a little kid, probably about 4, all teenagers, mom, dad. Everybody was on the phone. I'm like, yo, they could have ate at home. I mean, you go out but you don't spend no time because you're so engaged in your phone and you're not sharing and communicating with each other. And again, I get your phones and how your people are attached to it, but you have to show that level of respect for the person that's talking to you. Just put down your phone for a few minutes. You ain't gonna miss nothing.
Okay, I can accept the impolite. Part, but as far as the not listening part, all right, we had a conversation off mic about test taking and being students, and I said, I used to be in class, talking to whoever I'm talking to, but I can hear the teacher. So I can hear the teacher. That's enough for me to pass the test, get an A on the test. Mm-hmm. So I'm listening.
Right.
So I feel like the listening part is an induction.
I know it is.
The polite part I can't argue with.
No, but even the listening part. Because as we were talking about that, what you told me was, I can get 97, 98. So 2% of that you missed. What if the 2% that you missed was the most important part in the conversation that we had? Maybe the other 98% of the stuff I said was trash and you probably didn't need to know. But the 2% you missed because you didn't give all of your attention to it. So that's what I'm saying. If you give, and again, in most cases, if you sit down, let's say you sit down with your wife and y'all have a conversation at the table, couch, wherever y'all talking, you're only going to be there for 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, depending on how deep something is. But you're not going to be there that long. You can put down your phone for that period of time. Because what should be most important to you is the person you're talking to, not the things that you're thinking about or on your phone or the person you want to text or the video you want to look at or whatever. Because all that stuff won't be there. If somebody texts you, your text is not going to disappear in 30 minutes.
All right, but sometimes when you refresh the screen, that video go away. You can never find it.
It wasn't that deep. But because what happens is sometimes when you refresh your wife, the relationship that you would have had, you'll never find.
Bars. All right.
So,
let's go.
So give them that attention. You're listening. Make sure you're practicing your listening skills with your spouse or your significant other. Again, active listening as well, meaning that you can repeat what you heard. And I don't mean word for word, but and this also helps you understand it a little better. So if I tell you, if we're in a conversation, I said, listen, I really feel like the way you rub my feet causes me pain because you rub too hard. You got these hard hands and they're on my feet. They hurt. But you heard something totally different. So you repeat it because you are listening, but you didn't understand. So you heard, when you rub my feet, you scratching me because you got calluses on your hand. I never said that. I said you rub too hard. I didn't say you had calluses on your hand and you cutting my feet off. So again, but if you repeat that to me, then I can tell you that, hey, that's not what I meant. That's not what I said. That's not even what I meant. This is what I meant. So I can make it clear. So by you having active listening skills and you practicing that and you repeating back to me, we can make sure that we're on the same page in this conversation and not leave things up for interpretation that can come back to bite us in the butt later because you thought I said something I didn't say, or I said something that I said one thing and you just didn't understand. It could be something as simple as you didn't understand it.
I think a better real life example of that exact thing that you
My
said.
My foot wasn't a good example.
No, it is. That is a good example. I think the translation part might have been a little hard to get. So you say, "Hey, I think you rub my feet too hard." They hear, "Oh, you said you hate it when I rub your feet." And it's like, yo, what? I didn't. No, I don't hate when you rub my feet. I just don't like when you hurt my feet. I
want you to rub them. I just don't want you to hurt them. Yeah. I mean, so, and that's true. So it's all about, I want you to understand, to clearly understand what I'm trying to convey to you versus you interpreting what you heard from your own mindset. No, listen to what I'm saying. Don't. I try to make sure with my wife, I'm like, she'll say, well, you said, no, I said exactly what I meant. I ain't leaving this to interpretation. I'm trying to say exactly what I mean. Now, I also had to learn, though, in saying what I mean, I don't want to hurt you. So I got to be careful how I say it, but I want to be clear in what I say. So that, because what happens is if I say it harshly, you're going to shut down and you're not going to hear me anyway. So I have to be aware, in tune to your emotions and how and your body language to know, okay, I need to tone this down or not be as harsh with my words so that she can understand everything I'm saying. Because again, it's because it is on me as a communicator to make sure I'm communicating clearly to her or to whoever I'm talking to. So I have to be careful on how my tone comes across sometimes. And so those things are important. And it's not about, well, I'm just going to get it out. No, I need to get it out so you understand it and so that you can receive it.
And sometimes that's tough because I feel like there's a fine line between, like for me, I like to just say exactly what I mean. So there's, like I always say, like, my English is fine. So you don't need to translate anything. You don't have to say what you think I was trying to say, or because I said it. But there's a fine line between saying exactly what I mean and saying what I mean in a way that you can receive nicely, I guess. Because it's like if I say it in a way that you receive nicely, then you may not understand it in the way that you need to understand it. You know what I mean?
But again, that's where you have to work on your communication skills. So it's about, I'll put it, the Bible says, dwell with your wife according to knowledge. So when we're talking about wives, so I need to have an understanding of how she takes things in from me, how she receives things, so that I can give her the information I need to give her in a way that she can take it. If I, like, they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So if I have to give my wife this information a bite at a time for her to receive it, it's more important that she gets the understanding of what I'm saying than it is for me to just get it out. Because if I just need to get it out, then I should talk into a mirror. Because I can just get it out to the mirror and no one is going to it's not going to change anything. But if I want to change or get the information out where it can affect her into understanding what I'm saying to make a change or to do whatever it is we're trying to have this conversation for, then you need to understand it. So I need to know you as my wife. I need to know, how do you take this? I need to know, as I'm talking to you, when your face get a little crinkle in your forehead or whatever, and I'm getting my wife to get a little crinkle, she either, I know what it means. I know this crinkle means she upset. That crinkle means she mad. This one means I just hurt her. So I need to know the difference because I'm spending time and I'm watching her and I'm like, oh, I just hurt her feeling. I got to clean this up. Because when her feelings get hurt, she ain't hearing me no more. Because now she's working out of her hurt or listening out of her hurt, which changes the information she receives. Because no matter what I say now, until she stops feeling hurt, she ain't going to hear it. So I need to change. Oh, let me pull back. Let me roll this back. Babe, listen. Not trying to hurt you. Look, I love you, blah, blah, blah. I say some sweet stuff to get her back into a neutral space so that now I can continue to talk and she can receive it.
Yeah, but some people are just prone to getting offended at perceived criticism, no matter how it's delivered. Because even if it's delivered in a nice way, if they think it's criticism, they're going to be offended because they get defensive at criticism itself.
That could be true, but it also can be, are you delivering it in a nice way, or do you believe you're delivering it in a nice way? The nice way that you deliver it has to be the nice way that they need it delivered, not the nice way that I feel like I said that in a nice way. But everybody else looking at me like, man, that wasn't nice.
All right, but so what if it's not and everybody else is?
No, but I'm just saying
it's just a them thing.
Right. But so I have to understand, if that is the case, it still defeats the purpose of communicating if they don't get it. So no matter, it's really only about them. Mm-hmm. So no matter how I say this, if I say it in a way that they can't get it because they can't, that criticism or the way it came off as criticism or how harshly they perceive it, they're not going to get it. So I need to change it. I need not the criticism itself or not the correction itself, but I need to change how I'm communicating it. Now, that again, it takes time to figure those things out with individuals and how they need to receive it. But again, you have to spend time with that person. And if I already know that if I say this, she gonna get upset, then I'm not gonna say this. I'm gonna say that, because I already know where it's gonna go. So I need to. I think there's too many times we're so caught up into being right or proving a point or making sure we get our point out that we don't take in the fact that our point doesn't mean anything if the other person is not receiving it. It really was just a wait. It was just wait. I could have just kept my mouth closed and went about my business. I ain't have to talk to you at all, because all I did was waste my time. In fact, all I did was make you mad, and now things were
mad too.
Yeah, so I could have just kept my mouth closed. So really, it's about how do I communicate this in a way that you can receive it, and I have to figure that out. That's part of us spending time together and going through some bad conversations, so that I can ultimately learn and I can make changes. Can't change her. I can change me. I can't change how she receives this. I can change how I give it to her. Now, it's hopefully over time, and again, everybody's timeline is different. She will grow to understand, I'm not trying to hurt you, babe. No matter what I say to you, my goal is not to hurt you. My goal is to help you grow. And so I have to make sure that maybe that's how I start this conversation. Look, babe, I love you. I ain't trying to hurt you. But I need to say this, and so that we can, be on the same page, and so we can continue to grow as a couple. And so those things are, go back to the whole, how it's not just about what I say, but how I say it, and how I say it to everybody is going to be a little different. And again, we talked about your listening skills and your body language. But in that conversation, we having that conversation, the last thing you need to do when somebody is talking to you is fold your arms, roll your eyes, and act like, and you'll be like, well, I am listening. You might as well grab your phone. You ain't listening no more. Your eyes rolling. You gonna cross it. You gonna shut me out, but you don't want to say. You don't want to come out and say it, because then you become the bad person in the conversation. But everything your body is showing me is that you could care less what I'm saying right now. So you might as well grab your phone. And I think that's the problem. People don't understand is that you learn this from an early age. How to know when somebody's paying attention to you. Kids don't even know how to talk, but they know when they know if you go up to a child, if a child come to you, little kid can't even talk, and they whatever. If you ignore them, don't even say nothing. They'll stop talking to you and walk away. Because they already figured out you ain't paying no attention to me. Your body language showed them. They don't understand nothing you say because you ain't saying it. But they know from an early age, man, they don't care about what I'm saying. And they going to leave. So what makes you think after all these years of us growing up that as adults, we're going to do anything less? You have to know that your body language speaks volumes in a conversation. Your body language alone can cause a fight or stop a fight. And in most cases, what we do is our body language causes the fight. It don't stop too many because we don't know how to, kind of tenderize ourselves enough for the person to say, ooh, she loved me or he loved me. Nah, what we do is we roll our eyes. We just like whatever facial expression they say I got that just say stop talking.
Remember all your stuff.
Yeah, whatever that. So, but those things cause so many problems. You have to be aware and say, look, I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying. I don't want my body language to I don't want to get. I don't. And the reason why what happens is I don't want to get to a place where my body language is affecting the conversation, and it's only affecting the conversation because my mental has already left. So I need to stay engaged with you and care about what you're talking about. So we need to make sure that it's all that it has to be where I'm engaged with you. And again, when your body language is right, it helps with the conversation. And then also, you have to speak to lift up your spouse, lift up your partner, lift whoever you with, your friend. Speak to lift them up. Don't just always come to somebody and only time you talk to me is when you telling me something bad about me. And you don't never pick up your socks. You don't never do this. You don't never do that. Yo, do I ever do anything good? Yeah. Well, how come you never tell me that? That's communication too. Talk to me about some good stuff I do. Don't just keep telling me the bad stuff I do. Because what you're going to get is more bad. You ain't going to get no good by telling me only bad stuff. Very few people change because you beat them down with bad stuff. If anything, only thing I'm going to do is defend the bad I'm doing. So if you keep telling me, oh, you don't never do this, so I'm going to never do it that much more. I'm going to do it even harder. Because what you're doing is you're making me have to fight back. And so when you speak and you communicate, speak some things in love. Talk good to your partner. Let them know that they do some good stuff. I really appreciate the way you spend time with the boys, or I really appreciate the way you cook for us every day. I really appreciate the way you get up and go to work every day. I really appreciate the way you come in the house and you give me a kiss. Whatever it is, let them know that you appreciate the things that they do, not just always. And again, because you're going to have plenty of things that's going to come up that you're going to be like, yo, that sucks. I can't believe he did that. I can't believe she did that. And we need to talk about it. You're going to have those times. But if I'm spending more time lifting you up and building you up, when we have those times, you can receive it a lot better. A lot of times people don't receive the criticism because all you ever gave me was criticism. When was the last time you told your wife she was beautiful? When was the last time you told your husband he was handsome, or that you thought he was sexy, or that you wanted to spend some time with? When was the last time you told them something good about themselves, as opposed to always telling them what they're not doing or how they're falling short? So again, in communication, we need. If I want to be able to share some things that are not quite right, I need to be sharing a lot of this good stuff with you. Spend time together so that you can learn more and more about each other. That's the only way you can really understand how to communicate the best way for that person. We talked about love languages before, but one of the things that within every love language is the more time we spend together is that way I can understand what I need to give you and how I need to give it to you. And that also goes in communication. I need to be able to understand how to communicate with you. And that's a part of me spending time with you. Spending time with maybe the TV off and the kids, if we got kids, we put them to bed, on early schedule or whatever, so that your kids ain't running around the house at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I ain't got no time for my wife or my husband because the kids up all night. Put your kids to bed at a decent time so that you can spend time with each other. If you don't put your computer away. Put your work down. I get a lot of people work from home. Some people bring their work home. But sometimes you got to shut it off. One of the things I used to do, I used to tell people all the time, when I leave the office, I don't think about work no more. I leave it at work. I'm going to walk out the door. I had a work phone. I didn't even turn it on. I used it when I was on travel. But other than that, you can't call me at night. You can send an email all you want. I ain't looking at it. I'm going to look at it when I get back in the office. Because when I go home, I want to spend time with my family. I ain't trying to do work. So you got to be able to shut off so that when I get home or when you get home, you are engaged with your family so you can communicate with your wife, your kids, and your family. Because again, you have to communicate with your kids too. Talk to your son, talk to your daughters. Let them know what you think of them. Let them know what you require of them. Let them know the standards for your family. You got to communicate those things with them and hear from them. What's going on with their day? Are they being bullied in school? Are they the bully in school? Talk about it. Got to communicate. So again, this communication thing is not just a thing for you and your wife, but it's for you and everybody. You got to know how to communicate with people. And we talked about, bring up the kids because that's so important. How you talk to your kids and talking to your kids is so important. They're not going to tell you everything after a certain age, but you get some. You get more stuff. The more you talk to them, the more you're going to get. If you don't talk to them, you ain't going to get nothing. You got to ask them questions. You got to actually make them feel comfortable talking to you, respectfully, because I think some of y'all let y'all kids talk to you like they're your friends, but, respectfully. But we got to have these conversations. We got to talk, kids. I need to tell my sons and daughters about sex. I don't need them to learn about it from school. I need to talk to my son and daughter about what life looks like outside of my house, because you ain't going to live with me forever. So we need to have that conversation about you taking care of yourself and your family. We need to have those conversations, but you need to talk them to them and build them up about how great they can be. So with that, I hope, you got something out of it. It was kind of fun for me. We had good communication here.
Agreed. I feel like you left some month though, and I don't think the people should be left without it.
Well, people, what did they leave out? Share with me. So, what people got?
There are some that are not good communicators and will not be committed to improving. And if that's the case, they should know what the alternative should be. And that's not necessarily in a relationship, it's just in general with people.
Yeah. All right. If you are not a good communicator, one, you should learn. But you should learn because you can learn how to communicate. So the fact that you don't want to learn or don't want to get better means that you will struggle in every area of your life. No doubt. I don't care what area of your life, your work, your home, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, your kids, your parents, every relationship you have, every area of your life will struggle if you don't commit to becoming a better communicator. And the problem is, you can't blame other people for the fact that you don't communicate well. You got to stop looking at everybody else and say, well, she doesn't say the things the way I want her to say it, or he doesn't say it the way I want him to. Fix you. Don't worry about what they do. Fix you. You learn to communicate better. Learn to express what you need out of communication. So you have to do. If you ain't gonna do it, then you're just gonna have a very tough life especially as far as communicating goes.
It's very well said and very professional. I have a much simpler way to advise the people. If you cannot communicate and you don't know how to do so effectively and respectfully, learn how to fight. Because you will be fighting.
Yeah, well, that's true. You might get smacked upside your head a few times because you don't know how to talk to people. So that is true. I ain't gonna lie. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was fun. So hopefully, like always, you share. What's that other stuff they supposed to do?
Like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend, and tell a friend, and tell a friend.
That's right. Do all that stuff, and then let us know if you got it. Hit us up on the comments as well. So, and as always, don't just listen to the clips. Listen to the whole thing. All right. Appreciate you guys, and we will talk to you later. Peace.
Bye.
Studio. We in the studio. We in the studio. We Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. We Rob in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Catch a vibe. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Is alone and only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head top. With the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Been living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how he feeling, dog, he might got something to pray. This type of influence that he ain't got to filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob. Come let the heat rock simmer.